The scene begins with a depiction of the formless void. This void represents the state of existence prior to creation. It establishes the starting point before any creative acts. This emptiness sets the stage for the introduction of form and structure. The scene opens in a cosmic void, a representation of the state before creation. A powerful voice resonates through the emptiness, symbolizing God's command. This voice signifies the divine origin and intentionality behind the act of creation. The echoing command emphasizes the authority and power initiating the universe. The narrative underscores the belief that creation stems from a divine will. The scene depicts the commencement of water separation. This separation establishes a clear division between bodies of water. The visualization highlights the initial act of differentiation. It represents a fundamental stage in the formation of distinct aquatic environments. This division is a crucial step in a broader process of environmental organization. The firmament, or raqia, is created as a physical division. This division separates the waters above from the waters below. The expanse between these waters forms the sky. This marks the establishment of a distinct atmospheric layer. The firmament serves as the boundary of Earth's atmosphere. The text highlights God's act of naming the firmament. God's naming signifies ownership and authority. The firmament is specifically called heaven by God. This act establishes a divine designation for the sky. The term heaven can be defined as the visible sky. It refers to the atmospheric region where clouds are formed. This definition also encompasses the space where birds fly. Therefore, heaven in this context is the immediate, observable sky. This understanding clarifies the meaning of heaven as a physical space. It focuses on the tangible aspects of the sky. Naming is presented as an act of establishing dominion. It also serves as a means of defining the essence of what is named. The act of naming illustrates the exertion of authority over creation. This concept is exemplified by God's act of naming in the Bible. Ancient cultures often revered celestial bodies as deities. The sky, sun, moon, and stars were commonly personified and worshipped. These celestial gods were believed to influence earthly events and human lives. This practice contrasts with monotheistic creation accounts. Monotheistic views typically present a single god as the creator of the cosmos, rather than the cosmos itself being divine. Genesis 1 states, "The sky is a creation of God." The sky is not divine, but rather something God made. God named the sky, asserting his authority over it. This perspective contrasts with other beliefs where the sky is a deity. The term heaven initially refers to the physical sky. This encompasses the visible expanse directly above the earth. It is the atmospheric space where clouds form and birds fly. Genesis 1-8 reinforces this primary meaning of heaven. Therefore, heaven is first understood as the Earth's atmosphere. The term heaven can also refer to outer space. This encompasses the celestial realm of the sun. It also includes the moon and the stars. This broadens the understanding of heaven beyond religious contexts. Heaven is understood as God's dwelling place. This concept refers to the highest heaven. Psalm 11-4 supports the idea of heaven as God's abode. This introduces the spiritual dimension associated with heaven. It signifies a realm beyond the physical world. The separation of light from dark is a foundational element of cosmic architecture. This separation is presented as the event of day 1 inch the creation narrative. It establishes a fundamental duality within the structure of the cosmos. Light and dark are thus conceptualized as distinct yet integral components. Understanding this separation is key to interpreting the broader creation story. This initial act of differentiation sets the stage for subsequent cosmic developments. Day 2 of cosmic architecture focuses on the separation of sky and waters. This separation establishes a structured division within the cosmos. The division prepares the environment for subsequent creative acts. The process reinforces a deliberate and ordered creation sequence. This architecture sets the stage for future developments in the cosmic design. The phrase, evening and morning, indicates a full day. This phrase structures the narrative of the creation week. The recurrence of evening and morning marks the passage of time. Each evening and morning signifies the completion of a day. The text specifies, evening and morning were the second day. This statement confirms the completion of the second day of creation. The phrase, evening and morning, signifies a complete cycle. This cycle is understood as a single day in Hebrew tradition. This definition clarifies the Hebrew concept of time. Therefore, a day is marked by the transition from evening to morning. God's work is characterized by order and purpose. Each phase of God's work is completed in a purposeful manner. The completion of each phase marks the end of a defined period or day. This ordered progression highlights the divine planning inherent in God's actions. The structure reflects a deliberate and thoughtful approach to creation and divine activity. Time is an integral part of God's creation. God's creation encompasses all aspects of existence, including the temporal dimension. Time, therefore, is not separate from God's creative power. God maintains complete control over time. This control underscores God's comprehensive authority over all things. God's sovereignty extends to the very fabric of reality, including the past, present, and future. Day 2 of creation focuses on establishing the sky. The narrative emphasizes the placement of the sky as a key event. The arrangement of waters is another significant accomplishment of this day. This includes the separation and organization of water bodies. Day 2's summary reviews these specific creative acts. The summary highlights the structured arrangement of the natural world. The narrative progresses to Day 3, focusing on the creation of land. Seas are formed, defining the boundaries of the land masses. Vegetation is introduced, covering the newly formed land. This sets the foundation for subsequent stages of creation. In the creation narrative, Day 2 is unique. It is the only day where the phrase, "God saw that it was good," is not explicitly mentioned. This omission has prompted questions and discussions. The absence is a notable detail in the sequence of creation events. The completion of work is affirmed on Day 3. This affirmation coincides with the appearance of dry land. The events of Day 3 offer one explanation for a notable absence. This explanation suggests a correlation between completion and a specific absence. The explanation prioritizes the function and structure of the subject. The focus is on providing an alternative perspective. Evaluation is secondary to understanding the mechanics. This approach aims to clarify through functional description. Vertical separation refers to the distinct layering of Earth's elements. This includes the separation of waters, sky, and land. The value of this separation becomes clear when the Earth is habitable. Habitability highlights the purpose of this arrangement. Therefore, vertical separation is essential for a habitable environment. Genesis 1 presents Day 2 as part of God's intentional creation order. This highlights the divine purpose inherent in the structure of creation. The ordering reflects God's wisdom in establishing the world. Day 2's inclusion reinforces the deliberate nature of God's creative acts. God is fundamentally a God of order. This attribute signifies a divine preference for structure and organization. God brings defined structure to what is initially formless. This act of creation demonstrates divine power. Order is not merely a preference, but a reflection of God's nature. The imposition of order establishes a foundation for stability and purpose. The second day of creation focuses on organizing the environment. This includes establishing a breathable atmosphere. The creation of a livable world highlights divine provision. These actions demonstrate preparation for life on Earth. God asserts his dominion by designating the sky as heaven. This act of naming signifies God's ownership and control over the celestial realm. The term heaven encompasses the vast expanse above, often associated with the divine. By claiming lordship over heaven, God establishes authority over what humans may fear or worship. This declaration reinforces the concept of God's supreme power and unmatched position. Consequently, God's sovereignty extends beyond the earthly realm to the celestial domain. The weather, storms, stars, and fate are not random or divine. All natural phenomena are under God's control. This highlights God's sovereignty over the natural world. Nothing in the cosmos operates outside of His divine authority. Creation is presented as a deliberate act, not a chance occurrence. This perspective emphasizes the presence of careful design and intent. It directly opposes the concept of creation arising from random processes. The argument suggests an intelligent source behind the universe's formation. The sequence of creation follows a specific order. This order begins with light. Next comes the sky. Finally, the land is created. This sequence demonstrates a careful and logical design. The heavens are designated with specific places and names. This designation is due to their role in fulfilling God's purposes. These purposes are centered around sustaining life. This function connects the act of creation. It also links creation to its ultimate goal or intention. Fear of the unknown can be a significant obstacle in life. Believers can find strength by remembering God's power and control. The God who created the universe is also in control of their lives. This faith provides a practical means to overcome fear and uncertainty. God maintains ultimate control over weather patterns. Climate, as a long-term weather average, is also under God's direction. Even cosmic events are subject to divine governance. This understanding fosters trust in God during uncertain times. Recognizing God's sovereignty provides reassurance amidst unpredictable natural phenomena. Worship should be directed towards the Creator, not the creation. Nature is part of creation. Therefore, nature should not be worshipped. It is important to distinguish between reverence and worship. Reverence acknowledges the value of creation, while worship is reserved for the Creator. Experiencing awe when observing the sky should inspire worship. The focus of worship should be directed towards God. Worship should not be directed towards the universe itself. This perspective emphasizes the divine source of creation. The world often presents itself as chaotic and unpredictable. Genesis 1 illustrates God's capacity to create order from initial chaos. This divine ability provides a source of hope in turbulent times. It reassures that even amidst disorder, a higher power is at work. Trusting in this divine order can bring peace and stability. The concept highlights God's role in establishing order. This order is manifested both in the physical world and individual lives. Divine order contrasts with chaos, suggesting a structured creation. This order extends beyond the physical to personal experiences. The connection implies a purposeful arrangement in all aspects of existence. Day 2 of creation focuses on the separation and structuring of the Earth's atmosphere and waters. The primary event of Day 2 is the establishment of the sky, also referred to as the firmament. This firmament serves to divide the waters, creating a separation between the waters above and the waters below. The waters below are gathered together, forming the seas and oceans. Thus, Day 2 establishes the basic structure of the Earth's atmosphere and the initial formation of its bodies of water. On the second day, the waters were divided. The passage of time is specifically noted. This division of waters and marking of time defines the events of the second day. The narrative emphasizes the completion of the second day's activities. Therefore, the division of waters and timekeeping are key aspects of the second day. The heavens are presented as works of divine creation. This highlights the concept of craftsmanship attributed to a higher power. The vastness of the heavens emphasizes the scale of this divine creation. It suggests a deliberate and skillful design in the cosmos. The phrase, of his hands implies a personal involvement of the divine in creation. This perspective frames the universe as a testament to divine power and artistry. The heavens operate under God's command. This reflects God's ultimate authority over creation. The order in the heavens is part of God's wise design. This design reinforces God's purpose in creation. The scene depicts God speaking, initiating the act of creation. As God speaks, the elements and entities of creation materialize into existence. This symbolizes the immense power and authority inherent in God's spoken word. The act of creation is a direct manifestation of divine will and command. The atmosphere is visualized as a distinct expanse. This expanse separates the waters above from the waters below. The atmosphere is also referred to as the firmament. The firmament provides a clear division. This division creates a defined space. The atmosphere's formation establishes a structured environment. The scene depicts a divine perspective, overseeing the genesis of creation. This viewpoint emphasizes the role of a supreme being as the ultimate creator. The act of creation is portrayed as a deliberate declaration into existence. The visual representation underscores the power and authority inherent in the act of creation. Clouds are a visible form of water in the atmosphere. They represent water that has evaporated from the Earth's surface. This evaporated water condenses into droplets or ice crystals. These droplets or crystals then accumulate to form clouds. Clouds demonstrate the cyclical nature of water. They also illustrate the division of water between the earth and the atmosphere. The waters below refer to the oceans and seas. These bodies of water are distinct from the sky above. This separation completes the division of the elements. The oceans and seas are an integral part of this division. The narrative implies God's satisfaction with the completed work. This satisfaction, though unstated, is a crucial element. It sets the stage for the events and creations of the subsequent day. The implication fills the narrative gap of explicit divine approval. This unseen approval underscores the value and purpose of the creation. Day 3 represents a transition towards the emergence of life. It hints at the forthcoming appearance of landmasses. The day also foreshadows the development of vegetation. This stage sets the scene for the realization of growth and biological potential. The narrative concludes the events of the second day. This marks a significant stage in the creation process. The completion is emphasized to highlight the importance of the second day. It signifies that a foundational element has been established. This foundation is crucial for the subsequent stages of creation. The second day lays the groundwork for what is to follow.